Chapter 1. When I was in middle school, my dog died. Her name was Frida. She was 12 years old.
Do you know how much that is in dog years?
No, I don't know how much that is in dog years, and the concept of that, in general, doesn't matter to the story. The point is, she was a part of my life, and it really affected me when she died. I remember her lying on the ground, panting profusely, trying to catch her breath, all the while I was crying my eyes out, telling myself that it would be over soon. And it was. We wrapped her up in my childhood blanket and took her to wherever it is you get dogs cremated. Months went by, and one day after school, as I was waiting to be picked up, my mom decided to get another dog. Chapter 2. His name was Nibbler. A Boston Terrier like Frida, but that was really all they had in common. He was found on the freeway with a rope around his neck, dodging cars. He was completely jacked, with muscles galore, and his face, dear God, his face. His eyes were cross-eyed and far apart. His teeth were jagged. No. All right, fine. Doesn't. Chapter 3. Nibbler fucking hated me. Every time I went to pet him or even go near him, his face would scrunch up, his eyes would bulge out, and he would start to growl. His face basically looked like a hellish form of the Grinch. I was getting tired of his attitude towards me, and I just wanted him to accept me as a part of the hierarchy of the household. So one day, I just gave up trying to force him to like me. I decided to lie down next to him and see what happened. He started to growl, per usual, but instead of backing away, I laid still. His growling intensified, getting louder and louder to the point I could feel his breath. The engine was revving up, but I was too stupid to get out of the way until, in a mere second, it all went black. I felt nothing but a small pinch at first. I realized I was standing with my eyes closed and my hands covering my face. Then it started to set in, and the pain. Oh, the pain surely followed. I opened my eyes, ran inside, down the hall, and to the left, I went into the bathroom. I uncupped my hands, and they were covered in blood. I looked up towards the mirror, and just as I thought, Nibbler had bitten my nose. It looked like a tiny bomb went off inside it with how much blood there was. I started washing it off my face and put pressure where needed, but the blood wouldn't let up. I was scared, I was panicking, I was in pain. Then I heard the car roll up. My dad was home. I knew he would freak out if he saw me like this, but I knew there was no other way for me to get through this. And so I opened the door and I'm just going to skip the part where I get 9 stitches up the nose and pick up at the part after the ride home. He was still there. After my dad came home, Nibbler decided to cower under the couch, and he was still there after at least an hour and a half. I just stared at him. I mean, I wasn't angry. I was just in awe of the chaotic afternoon. Chapter 4. I just want to make a couple things clear before I end this story. I probably should have said this earlier, but Nibbler's name wasn't meant to be ironic until it was. He got his name from his previous owner, who was a fan of Futurama, the TV show. There's a character named Nibbler who technically appears in the first episode of the show, but is only really seen until the 4th episode of the first season. It doesn't matter. Secondly, I still have Nibbler. And though my parents were definitely against the decision, I knew that he would be probably put back on death row. I didn't feel right about that, so I kept him. Today, Nibbler is a lot more docile. Still ugly, but kind of in a cute way. I don't see him as a replacement for Frida that I used to, and I now see him as a weird younger brother who would totally kill me, given the circumstances. That's not really better, is it? No? Yeah. Alright, I'm done.